Okay, good evening. Today, let's start today's class. Let me share my screen. Okay. So, can you see my screen?
Yeah, can sir.
Okay, good. So, in the last class, we saw about paragraph formatting, right? So, we talk about what is paragraph formatting, left center, this all the alignment, how to do the alignment, basically, line spacing, indent, how to do the sorting in the table, how to do the paragraph shading and the paragraph border. So basically, everything was from the paragraph group here, correct? So we talk about how to do the alignment using all the different types, left, center, right, justify, how to do the line spacing, how to do the paragraph shading, paragraph bordering, how to do the sorting, intent, and bullets also, how to do the numbering and so on. So this is what we studied in the last class. So today we have a very important topic. I think it will be very useful for you in your work as well. So today we talk about page setup or page layout. You can call it page layout. We will see how to do the margin. What is margin? What is the orientation of the page? How to change the size of the page. Then we will talk about how to create a table, create new table, create how to insert the row and column, formatting the table, and merging cell. So today topic quite a lot of information. Two of you, so no problem. We can stop anytime and we can clarify the doubts. Okay, we can do at our own pace. So don't hesitate to ask me if I am going a bit fast. Okay, Farah.
Sir, okay.
Okay. So today basically is about page layout. So if you look at the tab, we studied about the tab home, insert, and layout. So I click at the page layout, you will see all these different groups, right? So this is called a group. We have different groups here. So first we will learn about the page setup group. And the first thing is about margin. So what is margin? So in a paper, when we want to write, we have the margin, right? We put the margin on the left, then we leave space on the top. We also leave space at the bottom. And in the right side also, we don't write towards the end. So it's a similar concept. What is the space that we want to leave around our document, Word document? So this is called margin. So to change the margin, now I have some text here. I just click the margin icon on the margin page setup group. So there is a drop-down menu. There are many options here: normal, narrow, moderate, wide, so on. So I just choose, you can see. So, okay, before I change, you can see here the ruler and where is my text. So take note of this. So now I'm changing it to narrow. Can you see? The text all shrink, the position change. So the page overall, the width where the text can be typed becomes narrow. Now I can go and change it to wide. Is it different? I go and change to normal, it can change to different. You can also adjust. So this is how you can change the margin. If you don't want this method, you want your own size, you want to have a very specific size, you can go to custom margin. Here you can see there is a top, left, bottom, right, 4 options. So this is called left, right, top, and bottom spacing. So you can go and change it to, probably maybe I want it to be 5 centimeter. Okay, I click OK. it changed now. So this is a way you can also change it. So top, bottom, left and right, we all know. So it's very easy. There's something called gutter here and gutter position. So now if you want to, maybe you have a lot of documents, you want to print it and you want to make it a spiral binding or binding. Between the two pages, you need to have some space, right? If not, the text will go inside. So for that, you have to go and change it to mirror margin. So now the gutter size, you can see here the picture. This is the gutter size. I go and change. You can see the picture, the gutter becomes totally gone. Now I increase to 1 centimeter. You can see the gutter has increased. So this is how called gutter. So basically for binding of the books or spiral binding, you can use this. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can choose anything you want. And there is one more option here. There is two kind of pages you want to see. When you want to read a book, certain document you want to print is a vertical document. Certain document is horizontal document, right? So maybe you have maybe some instructions in your workplace. Mostly it will be in the vertical position, which is called portrait. Certain documents maybe like risk assessment or certain things, usually we use landscape. Landscape means the paper is in horizontal form. Now I choose landscape. I click OK. You can see the paper become wider. That means the same paper, we write it with a horizontal position. So the width is more, but the length is small. So this is called landscape position, orientation. This is called the portrait position. So this is the orientation, two different orientation. Is this clear now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Good. So you can also go and customize whatever you want. You can also choose whether this is how many pages per sheet. Maybe you have so many documents. You want to save the paper, print it small. So you can also change it to 2 pages per sheet. You want to print it in a book form, like what I said earlier. You can choose multiple pages in book form. Then it will be printing in this manner. So this is the option also you have. So this you can go and try out the different options that we have. Okay. Next, I'm going to show about borders. So basically, if you see here, in this group, you have the, okay, before I go there, I can talk a bit about this group itself, explain about the size. So what is the size? It's basically the size of the paper. The document in what paper size you want to print. That is what is mentioned as the size here. So the day-to-day, all the documents that we use usually is called A4 sheet. And this is the size. Right, normal paper, all the white sheets that we use day-to-day in our workplace is A4. And some documents is bigger. Those documents are A3. It's basically the size of the document is bigger. And A5 is smaller. A6 is even smaller. So when the size reduce A3, A2, A1 means it's bigger paper. When A5, A6 like this is smaller. So I believe in your normal place, you mostly use either A4 or A3. This is the two common size that we use. The other size are there, but mostly we don't use it on regular basis. But we can always choose what we want. Sometimes when we do in letterhead, we have to use this size. When we print certain legal document, this is the standard size for legal document. So we have to use the correct size of the paper. So this is about the size of the paper. So you need to choose this to ensure that whatever document you are printing is printed correctly. So you have to pay attention to this before you print. Okay. Sometimes when there is a lot of information in A4, it is too difficult to see and read. So that's why they will use it. And depending on the text, can you hear me? I see here some background noise. Are you able to hear properly, Farah? Okay. Okay, because I hear a lot of background noise. Maybe both you can mute. I just mute, and then I just mute both of you. But anything you want to ask, you can always unmute yourself, and then please ask me. Okay. Then the recording will be more clearer. Okay. So this is the paper size. So you can choose the paper size according to your document, and also you can use the orientation. If you have more sentences that are like longer, then you can use more of the landscape orientation, and the number of points are less, you can use the landscape. If the sentence is too short but a lot of points, usually we use the portrait. So this is the difference between the size of the orientation, how we can use, and also talk about the size of the paper. Okay. So far, any doubts?
No doubt, sir. Thank you.
Next is about page border. So page border is on the next group. You can click it. So this is very similar to the paragraph border that we did earlier. So it's the same dialog box you can see. So now it's none. So I can choose what style I want, what color I want, what size I want, where I want. I can click wherever I want. I can get it. I don't like this border design. I can go and change. You can see we can change. And page color. Also, you can change the page color, whatever color you want, you can go and change. So this is the page color options. So this is about the page background. Watermark, usually you don't use daily, but if you want to know, you can always understand. Watermark is basically like certain document you want to show that this is confidential. So this is something like a hologram or something, right? So it is on lighter stage, something like here. It is not really a hologram, but it's just printed on the background in a lighter. You can type all your sentence, but when the first glance you look at this document, it will show, okay, this is very confidential, so you should not share to somebody. So it's something like that. Or you can say, do not copy. This is only the original copy is valid. You can also create your own custom watermark, and you can remove it by clicking the remove watermark. So usually not a regular basis you use it, but if your work really requires it, you can always choose this and do. Okay, so we have covered about the page setup and the page background and other icons here. So we have covered two groups. We have covered the page setup group and we have covered the page background. Next, we will go to the tables. Okay. So this is the table I just created as a sample. Okay, so I just create something that is more relevant to our work. So maybe if you want to create a report for your workplace, maybe where the manpower all going. Okay, so I just created something like that. Manpower report. What all the sites, how many workers, how many supervisors, safety supervisors. So this is just an example. You can create for whatever thing. So now I will show how to create this. I will show how to create this kind of table for you. Okay, so first I change the thing. To insert a table, you can look at the second tab. You can see here, insert, click insert. There's a table, click on it. Table can be created in three easy ways in a Word document. The first very easy one is this option. How many columns or rows you want it. So basically, before I go there, I will show here. So this is called one row. This is called a column. So in this table, there are totally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 rows and 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So I want to create the same. So I go and choose something like this. Okay. So I can create this way, or I can create in another way. I can just go to insert table. I can say insert table. So the computer asks me how many columns and how many rows. So earlier we had 4 columns and 8 rows. I want to create for 4 columns and 8 rows. So the computer can give me a table, exactly the same table. Now I want to do in a different manner, third method, draw table. So when I click this, a pencil appears. So I can draw a rectangle. So this is the table. Now I want more columns. So I can click wherever you want. You click it, one column can appear. Click and drag. I want more rows. I can create more rows. So this is another way. So the easiest way is usually the box. So you can choose what method you want. Okay, so this is about creating a table. So let me create a table of 4. Okay, so now I created a table. So now I want to create the header. So manpower allocation is in one thing, right? So there are many cells here. So I want to merge the cells. So I select this. I go to the layout. There's the merge cell. I can click the merge cell. You see, all the cells become as one cell. You can also do it by just selecting and right click and merge cell. So this is a shortcut method. You can click this and you do. Or you can go to you select the cell. Then you can go to the layout, merge cell. So I have merged it. So now I go and type here manpower allocation. Okay. Then I can okay, just to save the time, I just copied the information. I no need to spend time to type everything. So copy. But it is not exactly like what I created. So I have to do certain formatting here, right? So what do I do? Okay, I select the manpower allocation report. I want it to be bold. I want it to be in the center. So I change here. This also I want it to be in the center, bold and center. So this formatting you have learned earlier, right? So it's the same method. But still it looks very different. So how do I make my table very colorful? So you can just go to, click on the table, you go to design. In the design, you can see a lot of different designs of the table. So you can choose what design you want. According to what is your data, how you want to look it, you can always choose what design you want. Right? So you can decide what you want. So you can choose whatever design you want. You can choose what you want. Right? The similar design of what I selected. So you can do whatever things you think you want. You can choose. I think this is the previous similar design I choose, but different color. So you can try, practice, and you can always see what you want. So this is the different ways you can do the design of your table. Okay, now any doubts on this?
No doubt, sir.
No doubt, huh?
Question, sir.
Okay.
It's okay.
So now suddenly you realize you don't have, you forgot to add one more site. Okay, so you want to add one more row and insert the data. So you just select here, you click to the layout. There's the options here. So you want either above the PUB or below it, you can choose. So I want below this. So I can click here. There is a new row created. So I can enter here to us. Okay, I have 35 people here, one supervisor, and I don't have anybody. Okay, so you can do this. Now you think, okay, after 1 month, this is changed. Maybe this site, the job is finished. You don't have this site anymore. So you can select this. You can go and delete. Delete. So it will ask whether you want to delete the cell, column, row, or delete the whole table. So I delete the row. So it can change. Okay. Then if you want to insert, suddenly you realize, is there a site manager in everything? You want to insert something. You can select this, go to the layout. So you need basically a new column. So you can choose this and insert a new column, right? And here you can write site manager. Okay, so you can choose where you want. So maybe here we don't have only the big sites, you have one site manager, you can write. So you can play around with the table, you can try and do whatever you want. So you take note of this. When the table, you click here, there's a new tab appearing here. When you're out of this, you see, you don't have this. But when you click on the table itself, you have two new tabs, which is design and layout. And this is very useful for you. Okay, so you can do insert of the cells above or below. You can insert rows and column, left or right. You can choose what you want. You merge the cell. So now I don't want to merge. I want to split it, select it. It will ask you how many rows and how many columns. Want to split the table, also you can split. You can split the table. Now you want to change the height of the cell. There are different ways to do it. Okay, you want to adjust the row width. First thing, you bring your cursor closer to the cell. You can see the icon, the arrow mark pointer changes to a different symbol. Now you just click. You can drag the cell width increase, right? The height increase actually. So this is one way of doing it. The other way is you can go to select here the width. You click the width. This is the width increase. So this is also you can do the adjustment. Similarly, the column you want to adjust, you just click and drag, or you can change here. So this is the different options that you have. You can play around with this. Easiest way is this. Only when you want certain specific values, you can click here and do. Okay.
Okay.
The other options you have here is about the text alignment. You can see there are different alignment options here. So you can choose whether you want the left, center, right. So you can always select this and choose. And you can also choose the orientation, text orientation. Previously was horizontal, now I could change to this. This will be useful when you make certain table where the column is too narrow. You cannot type the words like this. If you type here, it will take more space, but you have more columns here. Then you can change the orientation like this. Then you can make this. You can make all these things narrow. So this is one way of doing this. Okay.
So this one come again, sir. So, the narrow, the horizontal.
Okay. So I select this. I want the layout. I go to the text direction. I click it. It become vertical, right? From the horizontal text, it become vertical. So now I want to save the space. So I go and select the column. I just drag it. So now here you see this is too wide. I select. So you have to see my mouse pointer. It has to go to that column. You change the thing. Then you just drag. You see now the supervisor is halfway here. So I drag this. Now supervisor fit easily. Now safety here, this column is too wide. I want to bring it. Okay. You understand now?
Yes, sir. Understand. Thank you.
Okay. I think this will be also very useful in your day-to-day work, right? When you create some document, you want very lot of columns. Maybe you want to create for 30 days. Then there's no space. So you may have to change it but your document data here is all numbers, then you can use this kind of orientation. Okay, is this clear? Any doubts so far?
No doubt, sir.
Do you want me to quickly run through one more time what we have learned today?
Can, sir, can.
Okay, so basically today we learned about margins. We have to go to the page layout. So this is the margin, this is the page setup group, this is the page background group, and this is the paragraph group. So we focus on the page setup group, margins. So basically the margins, there are different selections we can select, and the margin size changes. So this is about margin. And we also have custom margins where you can go and change the different size. And if you want to print in terms of spiral binding or other things, you have to go and change to mirror margins. Then you can change the gutter size. You change the gutter size, this is the place where your binding or your spiral binding will need the space, and your text does not go inside the binding. So this you have to take note. Okay, so once you have selected this, this is about margin. Next is about orientation. The orientation we learned about the vertical position, which is the portrait, and the horizontal position, that is the landscape. Then we learned about the different sizes and paper size, A4, A3, A5. So commonly in your place, this is the two size you use, but as I said earlier, you can also maybe sometimes use the letter or legal documents. You may use this, or even envelopes you want to print small size, you can print. So this is about the page setup. Then we learned about borders. We learned of the borders, how to select the border, different design, what color, what size, where you want to make the border. We learned about it. Now I click, it doesn't disappear. Then we learned about how to create a table. So to create a table, you have to go tab, table, insert table. So I click. There are different methods how you want to create a table. Either you want to use this easiest method, or you can use the insert table where you have to give the number of rows and columns, or you can use the draw table where you manually draw the table using a pencil, like the pencil kind of icon that you see. And once you do the table, you can do the design of the table. You can, once you have a table, the design and the layout tabs here, then you can go inside and you can choose whatever design you want. There are many designs that you like to do. You can change even the text color, whatever you want. And then we also learned about how to insert rows above or below, insert column left side or right side, or delete row and columns, or even a particular cell, or delete the whole table. Then we also saw about how to do the merging, split cells, and or even split the table. And finally, we learned about changing of the row height and column height. And we also talk about the alignment of the text and the text directions. So this is what basically we covered for today. Any doubts so far?
Oh, sir.
Okay. Farah, you have any doubts?
No doubt, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So far, just a minute. Okay.